Mayday to you guys out there. Glad you've joined me. Saturday. What is it? February 13th. I guess tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So what better to give someone a Valentine than cream puffs? Yes! I love cream puffs. I've made them before. I've given out the recipe and I've had some Maydays happen with the recipe. I gave it to my buddy Gary when I used to make them when I was in grade school, and I gave the recipe to my buddy Gary because he liked them so much, and I wrote the recipe down, and his mom was doing something and she's like, Gary, I don't think this looks right. And it was just nothing but a big gloppy soupy mess. Sorry, Gary. But anyway, we're gonna make some cream puffs. We're gonna stuff some of them with chocolate, some of them with vanilla pudding that I'm going to make on the stove. Don't tell anybody, but the chocolate, just snack pack, right out of the thing. Easy to do, but some of the people I give them away to, they seem to like that, so let's get on it. Now this is basically the 1-1-1-1-1-5 recipe. Pretty easy recipe. For ingredients, okay? What I mean by that, let's take a look right here, okay? Well, we got 1 cup of water. We got 1 cup of bread flour. We got 1 stick of salted butter. If you want to use unsalted, you should use it. What you want to do, well, I'll get to that in a second. We got 1 teaspoon of sugar, a little less than 1 teaspoon of salt, because we're using the salted butter. But if you go unsalted, go ahead and cut down a little on the salt you add. Maybe go half a teaspoon if you're using salted butter. If you're using unsalted, go the full teaspoon. Okay, and you might even want to go a teaspoon and a half of sugar sometime if you make it. You know, play with the recipe. It's easy to do. But the 5, what comes in with the 5? You got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs. And the eggs, what that'll help do is give it the lift. Now the bread flour over AP, you'll see this recipe everywhere with AP flour, and that's all purpose. If you have bread flour, make it with bread flour. Bread flour, the gluten, because it's high in gluten, it makes it a nice stiffer cream puff. So that way it's not all, and when you keep them in the refrigerator for a couple of days, they're not just all blah, 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 you know? They stay nice and firm. And so what we're going to do is make sure that before you add your water to the pan, we're going to add our butter to the pan. Turn our pan on, and we'll let that get hot. We're letting it get hot, and that way it'll melt the butter, because the stick of butter I'm using just came out of the fridge. If you already have it softened, you don't have to worry about it. Put it in there and it'll melt away pretty quick, and then you can add your water pretty quick. You kind of don't want to add your water until your butter's melted, because you don't want any of your 1 cup of water evaporating too soon. So hang on, let your butter get melted down. This one's going, we're going to turn the heat down just a little bit because we don't want to really cook the butter. But we're going to let the butter melt down. And when the butter's melted, we'll add our water, turn it up and get it boiling, and then we'll add our flour and stir that in off of the heat. Okay, now that our butter's ready to rock and roll, let's get it added the water into it, turn it up. We want that water to come to a boil. Let's put the salt and sugar mixture in there. And guys, if you're using butter right out of the fridge, like I said, you want to kind of chop it in some pieces, because it's hardened, okay? And you want to melt it before you ever add your water, because you don't want that water evaporating. But right now, this is going to come up to a boil. We'll take it off of the heat, and then after we take it off of the heat, we'll stir our flour in, and we'll turn it back down and cook our flour mixture. We'll cook it until we get the steam out of it, or the water out of it. We want all the water to evaporate out of it, and then we'll let it cool and add our eggs to it in the mixer. So you're about ready to see here. When this gets boiling, we'll be able to show it. And she's coming up to a boil right now. Okay, so you can see the steam coming off, coming up to a boil. All right, Time to turn this down. Let's take it off the heat right here and dump the flour right in and start stirring. You can just dump the flour in. It isn't going to clump or anything. I mean, just get it in there, get it stirring. Oops. Don't want to have maydays though. Now I want to cook this, okay? I want to cook it good until we see pretty much about 5 minutes. We want to get all that water cooked out of there. We don't want to see any more steam coming out of it. Make sure that when there's no more steam coming out of it, there's no more water. Plus, want to cook that flour too. You know, that's always a good thing to have your flour get cooked. And if you're just joining us, welcome. Love having you. I'd like to thank all my subscribers. You guys have all been cool. I'm loving it. You leave me a ton of messages and stuff, and you noticed I get back with everybody. I'll write back to everybody. It doesn't matter. Even if you write me in another language, I'll find a way to translate it. Gotcha, Mayday! Ha! All right, check this out. We're going to come back when this is nice and cooked, and I'll show you it. And there we go. For about 5 minutes, been cooking it. All the steam's kind of dissipated out of it. Take a look there. It's kind of in a ball, so that gets transferred right into our mixing bowl. And I'm actually going to stir that a little bit too, guys. And the reason I'm going to stir it in the mixing bowl is to help it get cooling down. I'm going to kind of just mash it and move it around and stuff. Because this, before you add your 5 eggs, and you add your eggs one at a time, you definitely want to make sure this mixture is cool, because you don't want to cook your eggs. Now, if you notice, the pan I was using is a 3-quart anodized aluminum Circulon. That's the company that makes them. I have 2 of them. The other one, I think, is made by, I don't know who makes it. Got it at Walmart. But it's this one right here. These pans are awesome, man. Nothing ever sticks in it. Who makes this pan? This is made by, can't read upside down. Oh, Calphalon Select. And that's a great pan too. So that's just what I do them in. You can do them in any pan you want, but I use those because anodized aluminum stuff doesn't stick, and that's what's cool. Anyway, we're gonna let this cool down, and as soon as it cools down, we're gonna add our eggs. All right, guys, she's cooled down, and we're gonna hit our paddle mixer, paddle wheel, whatever. Gonna hit it with some cooking spray, just so it doesn't stick or anything like that. And then we're gonna go ahead, put these down right here, put this on. You're gonna be able to see what's going on right inside the mixer. Our cream puff mixture is nice and cool, so our eggs are gonna go on there, and gonna mix away. Got this, look at that, 5 eggs in there. Turn it on low, guys. Add 1 egg at a time, and then that'll incorporate. Once that 1 egg gets incorporated, let number 2 go at it. Number 2, you're down. And as it's mixing, guys, got a couple. We got 1 more egg to put in. We speeded up the blender mixer, but it's also a good time to actually spray your spatula with some, cooking spray and scrape off the mixer and everything. That looks pretty incorporated. Time for the last egg. We're gonna let that get going. Let's see here how it's sticking on the sides over there. All you want to do is maybe Let that get to the point where it's incorporating the rest of that egg. Then we'll scrape it down, mix it a little bit more. I went ahead and sprayed this with a little more cooking spray. You see that egg. You want that shiny gloss kind of that the egg leaves kind of to get incorporated and go away. So you got a mixture there. Now let's give this one good scrape. Put that down. Get this stuff. This stuff's like glue, guys. So just be wary of it to get it all over your hands and stuff. But you want to scrape these down. Yeah, you don't want to take this stuff out and give it to the kids for Play-Doh or anything. It is a sticky, sticky substance. Okay, let's turn this back up and give it another little twirl. Now that looks pretty good. Shut her down. Take this back off. I'm going to spray this with a little more cooking spray. You don't have to cooking spray it, but I do, because I know how gooky and globby and sticky this crap is. This is one mixture that, ugh, it sticks. But I'm going to show you some tricks. I will show you some tricks and you'll be going, Mayday, you're a lifesaver with that crap. You have made my day. All right, so take this off the mixer stand. Take that right there, take it off. See that? Pretty scrape, pretty good. Scrape the rest of it if you want. Now guys, here's where we are as far as scooping them out and putting them on the pan. So this is what our mixture's like right now. You can see it right there. Nice gloopy thing. Here's a trick. A lot of people take those piping bags. Don't monkey with that stuff. Don't monkey with it unless you are a professional. Believe me, it will cause you grief, okay? The best way to do it if you're a guy like me, little trick. Take a cup of water, stick a spoon in it, get the spoon wet, get your finger wet because you're going to end up using that. Take a glob of it, okay, have your wet finger over here, and just right like that. Look at that. Take your spoon, get it wet again. Excuse me. Wet it, take a nice big round piece to make a ball. Scoop it right on there. That's gonna puff up nice. Wet it again. You get the picture right here. Nice little ball. And any little like stick up pieces, forget that. I don't know why I'm choking. Any little stick up pieces, just wet your finger, tap them down. That way they don't, when they bake, they don't burn. Okay, as you can see, I got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I usually get 12. I don't know where the other one went. I think someone must have snuck in. But I do see this guy. He's a little bit big, and so is that one. That's the fun thing about this. You make them however big you want. If you want big cream puffs, make big cream puffs. If you don't, make smaller ones. If you want 30 of them, make tiny ones. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's your recipe. Or it's my recipe, but it's you're cooking it. So anyway, we're going to throw these in the oven. And here's the thing, guys. 400 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes. Don't open the oven. If you do, I'm going to come over to your house and knock you on the head. Give you a little pinochle. Mayday! Anyway, now, you don't want to open that oven door. And the reason is because as they're cooking, they're releasing steam, which makes them puff. You open that oven door before 30 or 35 minutes is up, buddy, And that's going to cool that oven. That steam's going to cool and fall, and your cream puffs are going to collapse. And you're going to say, Mayday, Jiminy Christmas, my cream puff fell. And I'm going to go, yeah, that's because you opened the door. And I told you not to. Bunk! Okay, let's get them in the oven. Here we go. Don't know why my camera kicked off, but it did, and I'm sorry about that, but they're in the oven. They're going to be going, like I said, 30 to 35 minutes, and don't open that door. If you got to, peek through the glass with your oven light on. If you don't have an oven light, get a flashlight. Buddy, don't open that door or you're going to hate life. They will fall on you, and how do I know? Because I've done it twice, okay? Didn't learn from my first mistake. I had to do it twice to learn. Now I know that twice is the number, magic number for, pretty much being an idiot opening the door. Anyway, now it's time to make the pudding. So vanilla I'm going to make, and I've got some snack pack chocolate I'm going to put in there when they cool. Sounds good to me. Chocolate, vanilla, who gives a doggone? I like the vanilla a little better because it's the homemade pudding, Well, not homemade, it's from a box, but it's stovetop instead of snack pack. I haven't tried snack pack vanilla, but I will one day. So I got the old vanilla pudding cooking right here, guys. And once that cooks up, thickens up, we'll let that cool. By the time the cream puffs are cooled, we'll definitely have vanilla pudding to put in them. That's going to be righteous. And the pudding, just like that, transfer it to this bowl, put some cellophane over it, cling wrap, so it doesn't get the skin on it. Throw it in the fridge, and we'll be set. And I like pudding skins, just like George Costanza and probably anybody else out there, but you don't want pudding skins if you're going to use this for something like, cream puffs. Okay, guys, let these go for probably about 45 minutes, 47 minutes. About time to pull them. I think they're probably pretty much done. Oh yeah, look here. Those are nice and puffy. Nice and golden brown too. Could have probably let them even go a little bit longer, but you know what? I think right there is the perfect mixture for them. Look at that. That puff. Whoa, is to die for. Especially when it gets pudding in it. So let's transfer them over here. Let's get them off of there and get them over here. Let them do some cooling on a cooling rack. Sound good? Look at that. That's that big mambo right there. That sucker. All right, let's get to it. They're cooled enough now. We can go ahead and start putting some pudding in them. And I've got a little paring knife here that's kind of inverted. It's got the slicer on the inside, and I just use that to kind of cut around. So you take your cream puff, you can just take it, insert it, give a little spin like this. A lot of people use the pastry cream piping bag and they punch a hole in the bottom, and then they go ahead and fill them that way. But since I'm not good with that, I just do this. There's nothing wrong with this. Just come over here, take a scoop of vanilla ice cream, or vanilla ice cream, vanilla pudding, throw that bad boy in there, maybe a little bit more, put it in there, shut the top. Now you can take a little bit of powdered sugar, a little powdered sugar on her, and that, my friends, is a cream puff that you and I can actually share together. Let's take a bite and see how she is. Daddy-o. That's some good stuff. Guys, make this recipe. Do this. You see how I made them, how I powdered them, how I cut them, how I filled them, what I did. Let's get another bite real quick. Look at that. That's cream puff heaven. Anyway, got nothing else for you. These are delicious. My friends are going to love them. And I'm going to love them. I really do. I would go a little heavier on the sugar, though, with the pâte chaud pastry, the cream puff itself pastry. Probably should have gone on maybe a little less salt with the salted butter. But anyway, they're phenomenal. I mean, I'm not going to kick them out of, my house for being salty. Anyway, I'm Mayday. I'd love to have you subscribe. Love you guys. And keep those comments and whatever, likes or whatever you want to do. Subscribe. Love to have you guys. Until next time, Mayday is out of here.